All right, so we're going to start the process off by setting up Blender, the parameters inside of the Cycles Render engine so that we get a nice clean preview where the lighting is concerned, so that shaders can show up properly, the textures can show accurately, and that we could just kind of get right into the process of building the scene out, staging it, lighting it, and fine-tuning the settings to a point that it looks like what we are looking for, what we want, what we need. The entire process I didn't use any reference for this particular project, so I modified things as I went along. I adjusted things where necessary, essentially. I used basic geometry as the base of my blockouts, so I made sure to block out my scene, placing the hooks, the lights, kind of arranging the books. Lights I used in this scene is pretty simple. It consists of 2-point lights and 3 spotlights, as well as the HDRI that is very low. It's dimly lit by the HDRI, but it's just enough to give the scene some visibility. But the key lights and the main lights are indeed the spotlights and the point lights too on the inside. We can see the cones, the spotlight cones pointing down, 1 to the back and 2 on the sides. So it's very, very similar to a 3-point light setup, at least where the spotlights are concerned. And then we have the area light to support the backfill, as well as some bottom lighting to light it from the floor up to have the object more uplit, creating some visibility in the more shadowed areas at the base of the entire display. So the idea behind the layout here is to create an artifact display in like a museum or a study or a place where important artifacts might be on display, historical artifacts. So we're going for a more vintage look. We're going for some more rustic in appearance. Of course, had to take it a little further, including some simple plot simulations in this particular session, showing how we can outfit the scene just with some very simple items and very basic thought out approaches, right? So the scene is not complex by nature. It's just visually interesting because of the staging and the lighting. The framing helps a lot too in terms of the orientation of the framing in portrait mode, as opposed to if it were a wider shot. Including too much data on the sides would make the center focus a bit more lost, and we'd have to push in a lot closer to the display to capture everything with a wider frame. But using this vertical frame, it gives us a little more to work with in that vertical space. A tighter shot, of course, but that light is able to bounce through this space in a very clean manner, distribute itself very evenly, and give us a nice finish, a nice encased finish, especially when we include the glass cover to the front, the sliding glass to the front. Definitely gives it a very nice downlit display effect. It's what I was going for in this lesson, and I'm 100% satisfied with the outcome thus far. There are some additional steps that we can take to enhance the scene even further. We can, of course, take this into post-processing, which I'll do a version of and link it somewhere in my profile across my platforms. But we'll absolutely get to see the finished process come together piece by piece. Creating scenes like this inside of Blender is a freeing feeling. I can't explain how much I enjoy the process of going through these steps, staging, creating assets, texturing assets, staging scenes, animating, and then of course lighting and outputting the final product. So if you've never had the opportunity to see Blender at work, you can check out some more of the videos, or you can even check out Blender on their website. Thank you so much for taking this time out for me in the next one.